Hi, I'm Jacob Klinger, your Steelers PennLive beat reporter, back again to recap another week in Steelers and take some of your questions, try to answer them. Some of you have already asked, others are welcome to do so. We've got plenty of time. The Steelers really kickstarted the week by signing defensive tackle slash defensive end slash nose tackle Tyson Alualu to a 2-year deal. He said he can play pretty much anywhere across the defensive line. The Jaguars played a 4-3, the Steelers played 3-4. He'd be depth to Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt, something he, quickly recognized, but said wasn't discussed that much when he sat down with John Mitchell, the defensive line and assistant head coach, when he came to the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex earlier this week. He came into his press conference with a few of us Steelers media folks wearing a 2014 World Cup jersey, a German national team jersey with his last name and the number 93 on the back. No word on if that'll be his jersey number in Pittsburgh, but Germany did win the 2014 World Cup, so good for Tyson, good for Germany. Now, some of you all have asked about Darrelle Revis coming to the Steelers, whether it be as a cornerback or a safety. One of you, I think, said, hey, he wants to play safety? Sure, why not? Jason Lockenfor of CBS Sports has reported that he's looking increasingly likely to go to the Patriots. They are getting a little skinny at the cornerback position with Malcolm Butler probably on the way out, and Revis would, at least CBS Sports said, citing personnel person, be able to fill a sort of, he'd be able to cover receivers, a certain amount of the way down the field for them, and they could, scheme him in and make it work. So the Revis said after he had all charges against him dismissed a couple weeks back that it would be a dream come true for him to come and play for his hometown team. He's now a Oakland native. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. So at least according to CBS Sports, Darrelle Revis, not to the Steelers, probably to the Patriots. CBS Sports also reported that Dont'a Hightower, the linebacker they Steelers had in for a visit, the Steelers actually bid more than the Patriots did for his services. According to CBS Sports, the Steelers offered a contract that would have given him an average year-based salary of $9 million, and he went and agreed to an $8.7 million average base salary deal with the Patriots. So a lot of times we talk about this notion of the Steelers being cheap in free agency. In this case, it wasn't that. They were just competing against another team that could also offer trophies and show them trophies in the facility and say, hey, look, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. The Steelers usually are able to get a bit of a discount and draw guys in like that, especially on some of the more, second-tier, marginal, late-career prospects. But Dont'a Hightower is still in his prime, and he's already won a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. So, the Steelers outbid them a little bit, but, Christ, that's moving expenses for him. So, it's about, shakes out even. But the Steelers, weren't cheapened out on Hightower. I don't know how much it would have taken for him to stay, but he was at the facility for a really long time. But when they leave, it's not usually a good sign for the team who's hosting them. So, a couple pro days happened in Pittsburgh this week. There was 18 NFL organizations represented at Duquesne's pro day, and then 30 at Pitts, which is, Pitt shares a facility with the Steelers. Reportedly, the Steelers took a long look at Nathan Peterman, and they'll have a visit with the Eagles and the Steelers at some point in the following month leading up to the draft. Kevin Colbert said back in February that the team needs to bring in a young quarterback at some point to kind of groom behind Ben Roethlisberger. It could be Peterman. He's one of the more Sunday football ready quarterbacks in this draft. Everyone's sort of considered a project to a certain extent, but Peterman, it makes sense, and he wouldn't count against the Steelers' 30 pre-draft visits that they're allotted to host leading up to the draft. He would actually, because he went to Pitt, just not count. He's considered a local guy, even though he's from California. Lastly, and this is just a little bit of Twitter fun, Vince Williams invoked some Game of Thrones, if you will. He did earlier this week. So we ran a little Twitter poll to see which Game of Thrones character he actually was. We offered 4 options, and the results came in as follows. 3% of you voted and said that he was Arya Stark, the youngest daughter of Ned Stark, who, there might be some spoilers here, she has a tough go of it. She wanders around in the wilderness, and then she kind of learns magic. It's pretty cool. 16% of you said he's Tyrion Lannister, the little person who is often behind the scenes machinations of what happens throughout the show. He's very spunky. People really like him. 23% of you said he's the Night King, who seems to be an evil guy trying to destroy all of the civilization that we know in Game of Thrones. And then 58% of you, a pretty solid majority, said that Vince Williams was in fact the Hound, who starts off working for some bad guys and then becomes kind of an endearing character, but he's still a bad man. It's just like a different kind of bad man. That's who you all said Vince Williams was. And that's all I have for this week's Steelers Week in Review. There will be another one this year, many to come, I hope. If not, something very bad has happened. But I don't think it will. See y'all.